Hey all, Kunik here, back with another Short Stories Wednesday for you all today. I've got two really great stories lined up for you all, and along with that, a Roll20 recruitment post that is the definition of nope.jpg. So with that all said, let's roll for initiative and begin the stories. Story number 1. Player mocks second time DM for being unoriginal. At this point, I was new to DMing. It was my second time. And I had 4 players that I had met online for a homebrew campaign. They were a rogue, barbarian, druid, and paladin. Long story short, first session a major fight ensued on a rope bridge of a similar construction to Veltheim Towers in Skyrim. I had planned a twist where at the death of an enemy bandit warlock, the patron, the big bad evil guy, would possess the dead body and continue to fight. It was supposed to introduce the big bad and also highlight a quirk of how being a warlock worked in my world. I set the description of 2 watchtowers connected via a ricketing, wooden, swaying bridge of elven construction above a swiftly moving river. Paladin. Wait, is anyone else thinking Veltheim Towers, but wooden from Skyrim? Druid. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Paladin. Ha! I knew it! Well, this is original. Let's hope there isn't a waterfall at the end of the river. It's not like his character concept was especially novel, but his comment crushed my confidence and took the wind out of my sails. I hated the rest of that session and pretty much stopped organizing sessions from then on. 2 players kept asking for more sessions afterwards, but I quickly lost a lot of passion for the group and started making excuses as to why I could not run for them. The Paladin left a couple of sessions later and campaign petered out about 15 sessions in. I felt bad for the Rogue and Druid who really seemed to be enjoying the campaign and wanting to find out more about the world and the patron. I just was not having fun as I was constantly doubting myself. I write in my spare time and so I am open for criticism, but laughing at and taking the piss out of someone's efforts when they have spent the time and energy on it is horrible. Yeah, most DMs and even most story writers take inspiration from other sources. Nothing is truly original, and while the OP here did, as he admitted, take inspiration from Veltheim Towers and Skyrim, you shouldn't just expect it to be the exact same thing. He likely took the idea of the location into mind, but what was inside and what the key terrain elements were around it were likely going to be different. And as such, I would always fall back on that old motto. If you have nothing nice to say, don't say it at all. Story 2. I wonder why they're looking for players. Here's a post from Roll20 that should leave none of you scratching your head as to why no one is joining this campaign. The rules and warning system. Rules 2 to 8, you will get 2 warnings depending on what you did. 1. If you miss 3 sessions in a row, or constantly miss 2 join 1 repeatedly, you will be removed. 2. Do not join if you are not in control of your own time, i.e., needy parents, partner, or child. 3. Do not spotlight yourself or your character. I will give everyone plenty of spotlight time. 4. Do not have my guy syndrome. If you are not sure what this is, please look it up. 5. Do not correct me with my ruling, stat, or effect in-game. Whatever it is, it can wait. 7. Unless you otherwise specify, I will always assume you're speaking in character. 8. Do not metagame at all. If you have to ask if it is metagaming, it probably is. 9. Do not have tin can McDonald's Wi-Fi. 10. Act your age, not your shoe size. Warning, this game is not meant for those with a light heart. It will show the worst sides of the mortal condition when it's put to its limits and pushed farther. This game will tell a story of the past and present is a mere blur in the grand scheme that is the construct of time. First off, no, you're not losing your mind. There was no Rule 6. Secondly, this guy is definitely a that guy. Just reading that whole warning post at the end, he's trying way too hard and really trying to talk up his story. And all of those rules are really automatically accusatory of the players. It's okay to have rules, but you should not be outwardly accusing players that haven't even joined your game before they've joined. And that's how this comes off when you read it. And then going back to that warning, come on. tell us what the story is. Don't just say it's going to show the worst conditions of the mortal condition, or that it's going to tell a story of the past and that the present is a mere blur in the grand scheme of the construct of time. This is just coming off as way too much of a tryhard. Give us the setting, give us about the expectations of the game, but don't be obtuse like this. Story number 3. I was DMing for a group and made a player vomit. Real quick, this post has since been deleted, but I felt it was too good to not share. So I'm going to do so, but there's going to be no source in the description of this post. Yeah, so this one is on me. Doing a long campaign with mind flayers as the big bad evil guys. The group was investigating some bodies that had their brains harvested, and were essentially conducting autopsies. Now, before I get to the criticism, I promise we did a session 0. I made sure everyone was okay with body horror, violence, etc. 2 of my players are dating, and one of them has a very specific thing about ears. This never came up in session 0, because, well, it's incredibly situationally specific. I don't blame her for not thinking of it. What are the odds there's going to be ear horror, right? Well, of course, these bodies have dried blood caked in their ears. This girl's boyfriend, truly not with malicious intent, decided to specify investigating. He's playing a homebrew race called a Spudkin. He's a literal potato person. So he crawled up to the ear and rolled strength to crack open the skull from the earlobe down the middle. He succeeded, and I described it fittingly with a horror-themed setting, using a lot of detail. At that point, the player went and vomited. It was wild! I felt horrible, and despite her being an amazing sport about it, she was obviously embarrassed. I just feel terrible about the whole thing. I'm obviously modifying the rest of the campaign to not involve ear horror. When the brains come to life, they'll break open the skulls, etc. When it confirmed everyone is still okay with body horror, we just wound up hitting on an incredibly specific fear of hers. Yep, I can kind of see why he deleted this from r/RPG horror stories. This is more of a traditional sense of a horror story, and not necessarily a bad player. But yeah, there's only so much you can do in a session 0, and she should have been more aware of what body horror could potentially be out there that might trick her fear. But there's nothing more I can really say. It sounded like the OP covered his ground, and the players are still cool with continuing. So, yeah, not really much else you can do there. End posts. Anyhow, that's all for this video. As always, the source of the stories are going to be in the description below, everything except for story 3. And if you liked the video and you want to see more videos just like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button and bell notification icon to be notified of my future videos. And while you wait for those future videos, here are a few related videos that you can watch in the meantime.